No witches were harmed in the making of this episode. Human beings, just like you and me, with hopes, dreams, and feelings, were horribly and slowly tortured to death by psychopaths claiming some silent, invisible sky wizard told them to do it.
Woe to you of earth and sea.
Welcome to Satan is My Superhero, a show for atheists, scoffers, heathens, and unbelievers. I'm your host, Judas Falling. In this episode, we dig around in the garage to find the plastic storage tub filled with Halloween decorations and cover the house in them for the next 31 days.
Spooky month special.
It's witches, bitches!
That's right, for the next 5 Tuesdays in a row, we will be delving into the wicked world of witchcraft. So let's kick Spooky Month off as we mean to go on and dive right into the witches of Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Oh, Shakespeare. Yay.
It's witches, bitches.
Slight problem.
Here we go.
Shakespeare never calls the three sisters in Macbeth witches. The source material that inspired him to write the play never calls them witches. They might not be witches. So if Shakespeare didn't call them witches, what did he call them? And where does that leave us?
And where are the witches? I was promised witches, bitches.
Time for a biography.
It's biography time. It's biography time.
Shakespeare was an English playwright working the London theatre scene from 1585 until 1613. He became very rich and famous in his own time.
He be bowling.
Of the many plays he wrote, Macbeth is one of the most famous. The Tragedie of Macbeth was first performed in 1606. While the play is based on real historical people, Duncan, Macbeth and Malcolm really were kings of the Scots, the play does not necessarily follow the actual events.
Much like this podcast.
Shakespeare uses the plot of Macbeth to create a cautionary tale for any would-be usurper looking to dethrone any rightful monarch. Oh, and coincidentally, Shakespeare's employer/patron at the time was the rightful monarch of England. So, yeah.
No, Your Highness, I feel a trigger warning is in order before you see the play. It's about Macbeth murdering the King of the Scots.
But I'm the King of the Scots.
Yes, but don't worry. It all works out in the end. Macbeth gets his head cut off for trying to usurp the throne.
Oh, like exactly what happened to my mother.
Can I start this trigger warning again?
TTs, give us the plot of Macbeth in 60 seconds.
3 witches appear to Macbeth and his friend Banquo. They predict, among other things, Macbeth will one day become king. Immediately after the witches disappear, Macbeth is delivered news the other things prophesied by the witches have already come true. Lady Macbeth convinces Macbeth to unalive the current king Duncan in his sleep. Duncan's son and rightful heir Malcolm runs away amidst the chaos, fearing for his life. Macbeth claims the crown. Aware Banquo probably suspects his hand in the assassination of Duncan, Macbeth has his former ally and friend unalived. Under the intense pressure of the situation and weight of the guilt associated with what he has done, Macbeth loses his mind a little bit. He starts seeing the ghost of Banquo. He visits with the witches again, who give him some vague and trickily worded prophecies to set him at ease. In this session he is told to beware of fellow nobleman Macduff. Macbeth sends soldiers to Macduff's castle where they unalive everyone there, including Lady Macduff and her children. Macduff himself is not at home at the time.
Spoiler alert!
This is going to come back and bite Macbeth in the arse.
Ow.
The unaliving of Macduff's children is too much for Lady Macbeth. She loses her mind a lot and unalives herself. Macduff joins the army raised by Malcolm and attacks Macbeth. Those trickily worded vague prophecies come true and Macduff cuts Macbeth's head right off. Malcolm reclaims his father's throne. The end.
So let's look at how we even have Shakespeare's plays over 400 years after they were written by going on a brief and exciting detour into the history of publishing we can all nerd out on.
The history of publishing. Yay.
In Shakespeare's day, it was not only not the done thing to publish a printed copy of your play, it was downright frowned upon. There would often be just one single copy of a play known as the prompt book. This would have the dialogue, stage directions, etc. The actors in the theatre made their money from punters paying to see the live show. They didn't want you reading it at home.
No script for you.
Where there's a market, there's a scumbag. Less than honest printers would get copies of approximations of these plays and publish them. That's right, not only did theatres have to compete with home entertainment right back in the day, they also had to deal with pirates.
Nothing new ever happens.
So a number of Shakespeare's plays had been pirated and published without his consent in this way.
Arr, you want a pirated copy of Romeo and Juliet?
Yes, but how did you get it?
I know a guy who sits in the audience and writes down everything he sees. The text is mostly accurate. You just gotta get used to how often he describes Juliet's breasts.
You do know she's played by a man.
Not in this version.
Many of those pirated copies still exist, and for the longest time were ignored by serious scholars, because the propaganda mill of Hemming and Condell had preached to all concerned that they were inferior and should be ignored. Who are Hemming and Condell?
Are they bitches? Because I haven't seen any witches yet. I was promised witches bitches.
John Hemming and Henry Condell were actors in Shakespeare's company. They had performed these plays. They possessed all the original prompt books. They collated, edited and published 36 plays in what is now known as the First Folio in 1623, 7 years after Shakespeare's death.
It's what he would have wanted. What he would have wanted is to have not died.
Nowadays, academics take a more nuanced approach to the First Folio and the allegedly pirated plays. It's now thought that maybe they weren't all pirated, and maybe the pirating process was more faithful than Hemming and Condell would have you believe.
Juliet enters stage left. Against the backdrop of painted stone walls, the dim glow of the lights silhouette her perfectly moulded breasts like two badgers under a blanket.
You know she's like 15.
Not in this version, she's not.
Also, due to the way a live performance works over the course of a play's run, who's to say what the definitive version of any given play is? One might assume the play performed on the final night was probably the version Shakespeare would be most happy with. But would that be identical to what is written in the prompt book?
Unlikely.
I think we can assume Hemming and Condell took that into consideration, and having been there had a better idea than anyone as to what Shakespeare's final version of the play should be. What is and isn't canon in the Shakespeare cinematic universe is legitimately debatable.
What have we got here?
Patient non-responsive, BP 90/60. We've administered oxygen at 4 litres per minute via nasal cannula and 10 milligrams of intravenous morphine.
What happened?
He questioned the authority of the First Folio at a Renaissance fair.
This is where the idea that Shakespeare didn't write his plays comes from. It's a conflation of this very real controversy into a fully fledged conspiracy theory.
Shakespeare didn't write them plays. I'm an expert.
Anyway, all of this has been a way of explaining the First Folio, so when it comes up later, I won't have to spend 5 minutes explaining what it is.
You just spent 5 minutes explaining what the First Folio is. To avoid spending 5 minutes explaining what the First Folio is, I wonder if McDonald's are hiring? I would be great on the drive-thru.
Satan is my superhero, we understand. Not everyone can afford to support us financially, but everyone can help the podcast grow. You can do this by giving us a 5-star rating. It would be really helpful if you did it right now.
I'm driving.
You're playing Mario Kart.
Still dangerous. I could pull a thumb muscle.
We'd also love it if you recommend the show to a friend.
I don't have any friends.
I can't imagine why.
A lot of the older editions of the play refer to the three ladies in question as Weird Sisters.
That's a bit weird.
Where did Weird Sisters come from? Well, I'm glad I asked on your behalf. Shaky Bill's inspiration for the story of Macbeth comes from a book called
Holinshed's Chronicles,
where he practically stole the whole plot.
Told you. I'm an expert.
Holinshed's Chronicles is a comprehensive history of England, Scotland and Ireland, first published in 1577. Now, when I use the words comprehensive and history, I am, of course, joking. It's a comprehensive history like the Bible is comprehensive or historical. I mean, sure, there's stuff in there that relates to actual events, but you would never quote it in a serious conversation with adults.
And that's why kangaroos are not mentioned in Genesis. I'm an expert.
For example, Shakespeare did not add the Weird Sisters to the plot of Macbeth. They are there in Holinshed's comprehensive history of England, Scotland and Ireland. So there's that.
Hi Raph, it's your editor here. Just going over your second draft, I thought we agreed to leave the magical folk out of it. We're trying to write a factual history, not mythology. I did keep the magical folk out of it. Really? 'Cause it's filled with fairies, pixies, elves, and nymphs. You know what must have happened? The magical folk must have got a hold of my draft and written themselves into it. I guess that proves they're real. I guess it does. Oh, by the way, a leprechaun will be delivering your paycheck this week. A leprechaun? If they really exist, it shouldn't be a problem. Is it going to be a problem? No.
In Holinshed's Chronicles, the three sisters are described as
3 women in strange and wild apparel resembling creatures of elder world.
And
these women were either the weird sisters, that is, as ye would say, the goddesses of destiny, or else some nymphs or fairies imbued with knowledge of prophecy by their necromantical science, because everything came to pass as they had spoken.
in Middle English, weird meant
having the power to control destiny, and is derived from the Germanic word for destiny.
the Weird Sisters were not an invention of the Holinshed chroniclers, but a reference to the trio of goddesses known as the Fates. These fates were based on the classical Greek myth of the 3 goddesses who control everyone's destiny. So not what we might recognise as witches.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
We're not doing the witch thing now. Turns out they're not really witches.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? And I've been working on my witch voice. Want to hear it?
Sure.
Double, double, oil and trouble. Fire, burn, cold, rip, bubble.
Wow, that's really good. How did you come up with that?
I just did your normal voice.
Rude.
Adding salt to this open wound, infamous astrologer, occultist and accused black magician in league with the devil, Simon Foreman saw a performance of Macbeth at the Globe Theatre in London in 1610, and Simon wrote of the 3 women, describing them as
fairies or nymphs.
So once again, not witches. It seemed like such a simple idea. It's witches bitches. How do you that up?
In the first folio, Shakespeare called them the Wayward Sisters.
That's going to be the only time in this entire episode you mention the first folio, isn't it?
So what does wayward mean? Well, the word comes from the Middle English term awayward, meaning turned away. I think Shakespeare's original description of the sisters as wayward is saying these ladies are from the upside down.
If you know, you know.
So what do these wayward sisters do in the play? What do they represent? And how did they end up here on Satan is My Superhero at the very start of a very special spooky month special all about witches?
I don't think it's too much to ask that it be something witchy.
We'll have to find out in the next episode.
Oh, you have to be kidding.
way.
Is this a
Oh
joke?
my God.
Are you shitting me right now?
I haven't seen this much disappointment since Melania's wedding night.
You bear! Wink! 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 Wanky pranked!
We will get to witches in Act 2. And despite the fact I spent this whole episode creating doubt in your mind about their witchiness, in a brilliant piece of podcasting, I will flip that on its head and prove to you that they are indeed the witches you always thought they were.
What was the point of this episode?
If it was to give me the shits. Mission accomplished.
Good news. We're witches again.
Oh, excellent! That book of potions and spells I got won't go to waste.
Where's your brother?
About that. If you want to turn your little brother into a frog, be sure to visit the merch store at satanismysuperhero.com, where you'll find all kinds of black magic supplies, like Scale of Dragon, Tooth of Wolf, Witch's Mummy.
None of that is true. We just sell t-shirts, coffee mugs and phone cases. All the usual merch.
What about Adder's Fork and Blind One's Sting?
Nope.
Lizard's Leg and Howlet's Wing?
Do you even know what a howlet is?
I assume it's an owl?
Lucky guess.
Visit satanismysuperhero.com and buy some blasphemy.
Ribbit.
What can we take away from Act 1? First folio. You know all about it now. You can slip that into the next conversation you have about Elizabethan/Jacobean theatre and sound like a pro.
Are you sourcing that from the first folio?
No, my family trust actually owns an original 1598 quarter. Are you familiar with the quarter?
My family drives a 2015 Toyota Corolla. So, no.
I feel kind of obligated to finish this thing with some words from the bard himself. Here the character Banquo has a comment about the prophecies delivered by the witches.
The instruments of darkness tell us truths.
And that's why Satan is my superhero. If you've enjoyed this episode, rate, review, subscribe, you know the deal. But please do go check out the website, satanismysuperhero.com, where you will find links to the merch store, our Patreon page, and all our social medias.
What does Shakespeare talk like?
Probably a massive idiot.
3 women in wild... 3 women. Try again.
What about the thunder? I can't do thunder.
No, you're not doing the thunder.
Okay. Okay.
No. It's like a farm animal. Okay.
Do you want fries with that?